When I returned from my village trip, I found $5,000 missing from my safe. My husband said he borrowed it to help his brother start a business. The moment I opened my safe box after returning from 3 weeks in my village and saw empty space where $5,000 should have been, my hands started shaking. That money wasn't just savings. It was 3 years of secretly putting aside $20 here, $50 there for my nursing job, money I'd saved for my daughter's college fund without telling anyone because I knew my husband's family would find a reason why we should give it away. When I confronted my husband Kenneth about the missing money, he looked me straight in the eye and said, "I borrowed it to help Marcus start his business. He's my brother. What was I supposed to do, let him fail?" That's when I realized my husband didn't see my 3 years of sacrifice as mine at all. He saw it as family money he had every right to give away, and his brother's dreams mattered more than our daughter's education. My name is Grace Okonkwo, and I'm 43 years old. I've been married to Kenneth for 16 years, and for most of that marriage, I've struggled with his family's expectation that our money should be available to solve everyone else's problems. Kenneth is the oldest son in his family, which in our culture means he's responsible for everyone: his mother, his younger siblings, his cousins, everyone who claims they need help. I come from a village in Nigeria, but moved to America 20 years ago for nursing school. I work hard as a registered nurse, pulling extra shifts, working holidays, doing everything I can to provide for our daughter Zara, who is 14 years old. Kenneth works as a warehouse supervisor and makes decent money, but somehow we're always broke because his family always needs something. 3 years ago, I made a decision. I opened a safe box that only I knew the combination to, and I started saving money secretly. Every extra shift I worked, every overtime pay, every holiday bonus, I take a portion and put it in that safe. Not all of it, because Kenneth would notice if money completely disappeared, but enough that over 3 years, I'd managed to save $5,000. That money was for Zara's college fund. My daughter is smart, honor roll student, talented artist, dreaming of going to a good university. I knew that when the time came, Kenneth's family would have some emergency that would require us to use any college savings. So I kept this money secret, my insurance policy that my daughter would have options. 3 weeks ago, I got a call that my mother back in the village was very sick. I needed to go home to Nigeria to care for her. Kenneth couldn't get time off work, and honestly, I was relieved. These village trips were easier without him because he'd just used the opportunity to promise money to every relative who asked. I left Zara with Kenneth, packed my bags, and flew home to spend 3 weeks caring for my mother. It was exhausting. She had pneumonia and needed round-the-clock care in a village with limited medical facilities. But I was able to nurse her back to health. Thank God. When I returned home to America, exhausted from travel and emotionally drained from worry about my mother, the first thing I wanted to do was check my safe. It was a comfort ritual, seeing that money there, knowing I'd protected something for Zara's future. I went to the bedroom closet where the safe was hidden behind my winter clothes. I entered the combination, opened it, and my heart stopped. The money was gone. All of it. $5,000 that had taken me 3 years to save, gone. I checked everywhere in the safe, thinking maybe I'd moved it. Maybe I'd forgotten putting it somewhere else. But no, the safe had only one thing in it now, a handwritten note from Kenneth that said, "Borrowed $5,000 for Marcus's business. Will pay back soon." I felt like I'd been punched in the stomach. Kenneth had found my safe, figured out the combination somehow, and taken my money. Not asked, not discussed, just taken it and left a note like he was borrowing $20 for gas. I went downstairs where Kenneth was watching TV like nothing was wrong. "Kenneth, where is my money?" I asked, my voice shaking. He looked up casually. "Oh, you saw the note?" "Yeah. Marcus needed capital to start his business. You know, he's been trying to get that auto repair shop going for years." I told him we'd help.
We?
"Kenneth, that was my money. I saved that for 3 years. Every extra shift I worked, every holiday I gave up, I saved that money. And you just took it without asking me?" Kenneth's expression hardened. "Grace, Marcus is my brother. He came to me with a real opportunity, a chance to open his own shop, be his own boss, provide for his family. What was I supposed to do? Turn him away when we had money sitting in a safe, doing nothing? Doing nothing? That money was for Zara's college. I've been saving for our daughter's education. Zara is 14, Kenneth said dismissively. She has 4 more years before college. We'll save more money. But Marcus needed help now. This business could change his whole life. And what about changing Zara's life? What about her future?
Zara will be fine.
She's smart. She'll get scholarships. Marcus doesn't have those options. He needs family support. I stared at my husband, this man I'd been married to for 16 years, and realized he truly didn't see anything wrong with what he'd done. Kenneth, you went into my private safe and took $5,000 without my permission. That's theft. His face flushed with anger. Theft? I'm your husband. What's in this house is as much mine as yours. You're the one who is wrong, hiding money from me like I'm not your partner. I hid it because I knew exactly what would happen, exactly what had happened. Your family would need something, and you'd give away our daughter's future without a second thought. That's my family you're talking about, Kenneth said coldly. In our culture, we help family. We don't hoard money while our brothers struggle. Maybe that's not how they do things in your village, but in my family, we take care of each other. The argument escalated until Zara came downstairs, frightened by our raised voices. I didn't want her to hear more, so I went to our bedroom and locked the door. Over the next few days, I tried to get more information. I called Kenneth's brother Marcus directly. Marcus, Kenneth says he gave you $5,000 to start your auto repair business? Marcus sounded surprised. Yeah, Grace. Man, that was such a blessing. I've been trying to get this shop going for 2 years. Kenneth really came through for me. Did he tell you where that money came from? He said it was from your savings. He said you guys talked about it and decided to invest in family. Grace, I promise I'll pay you back once the business starts making profit. So Kenneth had lied to Marcus too, making it seem like this was a joint decision, that I'd agreed to this investment. Marcus, how much money have you put into this business yourself? I asked. There was a pause. Well, I haven't had much to put in. That's why I needed Kenneth's help. But I'm putting in sweat equity, doing all the work myself. My heart sank. Marcus had no skin in the game. He was starting a business entirely with our money, my money, while risking nothing himself. Over the next week, I did research. I looked into Marcus's past business attempts. In the past 10 years, he'd started 4 different businesses: a food truck, a cleaning service, a phone repair kiosk, and a landscaping company. All 4 had failed within months. Marcus had big dreams but no follow-through, no business sense, and a pattern of asking family to fund ventures that never succeeded. And now Kenneth had given him $5,000 of Zara's college money to try again. I made an appointment with a lawyer. I needed to know my options. The lawyer explained that legally, since we were married and the money was in our home, it was murky whether Kenneth had committed actual theft. But she could help me with financial separation and protecting my assets going forward. Mrs. Okonkwo, what your husband did is called financial abuse, the lawyer explained. Taking money you saved without your consent, especially money earmarked for your child's education, shows a fundamental disrespect for your autonomy and your contributions to the household. I also called Kenneth's mother, which I knew was risky, but I needed to try everything. I explained what Kenneth had done, how he'd taken money I'd saved for Zara's education. My mother-in-law's response was disappointing, but not surprising. Grace, Kenneth did the right thing. Marcus is his brother. Family helps family. You should have offered that money yourself instead of making Kenneth feel like he had to take it. Mama, that money was for your granddaughter's education. Zara is smart. She will find a way. But Marcus needs help now. You're being selfish, thinking only of your own child when Kenneth has responsibilities to his whole family. That conversation made me realize that Kenneth's attitude wasn't just his. It was learned from a family culture that expected the successful members to bankroll everyone else, regardless of the cost to their own immediate family. When I confronted Kenneth again with all my research, Marcus's history of failed businesses, the fact that he had no investment of his own, the likelihood we'd never see that money again. Kenneth became defensive. "You're so negative," he said. "This is why Marcus's other businesses failed. Nobody believed in him. I believe in my brother. Sometimes family needs someone to take a chance on them." "Kenneth, taking a chance is fine when it's your own money. That was my money. 3 years of my extra shifts, my sacrifice. You had no right." "I had every right," Kenneth shouted. "I'm the man of this house. I make decisions for this family. You working extra shifts doesn't make that money only yours. We're married." There it was. The real issue. Kenneth believed that as the husband, he had final say over all money, regardless of who earned it or saved it. That's when I made my decision. I went to the bank and opened a new account in only my name. I changed my direct deposit so my paychecks would go into that account. I took Kenneth's name off all my credit cards. I separated our finances completely. When Kenneth found out, he was furious. "You're punishing me for helping my brother?" "No, I'm protecting myself and my daughter from having our future stolen. Every dollar I earn from now on goes into my account. You want to help your family? Use your own money." "This is going to destroy our marriage," Kenneth said. "You destroyed our trust when you stole from your daughter's college fund," I replied. 3 months have passed since I returned from my village trip to find my safe empty. Marcus's auto repair business is already struggling. Turns out the location he chose has too much competition, and he doesn't have money for advertising or equipment. He's asked Kenneth for more money, which Kenneth doesn't have because I'm no longer putting my earnings into joint accounts. Kenneth's family has turned against me. They say I'm being unforgiving, that I'm destroying Kenneth's family relationships by refusing to help anymore. His mother called me selfish. His sister said I was too American and had forgotten our culture's values about family support. But here's what they don't understand. I haven't forgotten those values. I'm applying them to my actual family, my daughter. Zara is my family. Her future is my responsibility. And I will not let anyone, not even my husband, steal from her future to fund someone else's 5th failed business attempt. I'm still with Kenneth, but our marriage is different now. He knows that I have my own money that he cannot access. He knows that I will never again trust him with financial decisions that affect Zara. He knows that his brother will get no more investments from our household. Kenneth is bitter about this. He feels like I'm punishing him, but I'm not punishing him. I'm setting boundaries that should have existed from the beginning. Last week, Zara asked me about college savings. She's starting to think about universities, looking at programs, dreaming about her future. "Mom, do we have money saved for college?" she asked nervously. "I don't want to be a burden." I looked at my daughter, this brilliant, hard-working girl who should never have to worry about being a burden. "Baby, yes. I have money saved for you. It's protected, and it's yours for college. You focus on your dreams. Mama's got you." What I didn't tell her was that I'm starting over. That $5,000 is gone, probably never to be recovered from Marcus's failing business. But I'm saving again, even more aggressively now, in an account only I can access. I've also started talking to other women in our community, other African immigrant women who work hard and save, only to have husbands give their money away to extended family back home or siblings here who won't work as hard as they do. There are so many of us. Women working double shifts as nurses, home health aides, CNAs, saving every penny, only to have it disappear into family emergencies that never end. Women whose own children suffer because their husbands believe family obligation means everyone else comes before their own kids. One woman told me her husband sent $20,000 to his brother to buy land back home, land that turned out not to exist. Another said her husband had been sending $500 a month to his mother for medical expenses, expenses that were actually funding his sister's wedding. Another discovered her husband had taken out a loan in her name to help his cousin start a business that failed within weeks. We're all working hard, trying to build futures for our children in America, while our husbands give away our earnings to family members who often don't appreciate the sacrifice. I'm 43 years old now, and I've learned some hard lessons. I learned that marriage doesn't mean someone has the right to take what you've earned. I learned that culture and family obligation can be used as weapons to justify theft. I learned that protecting your child's future sometimes means going against your husband. Most importantly, I learned that a man who will steal from his daughter's college fund to give money to his brother's fifth failed business attempt doesn't truly understand what family responsibility means. Kenneth still doesn't see what he did as wrong. In his mind, he was being a good brother, fulfilling his cultural obligation, helping family. The fact that he betrayed my trust, stole money I'd saved through years of sacrifice, and put his brother's dreams above his daughter's education, none of that registers as a problem for him. When I opened that safe and found my 3 years of savings gone, I didn't just lose $5,000. I lost my ability to trust my husband with money, with decisions, with access to our shared life. And that loss is far more expensive than the money itself. Marcus's business will probably fail, like all his others. That $5,000 will be gone forever. But Zara will still go to college because I'll make sure of it. I'll work every extra shift, save every dollar, and keep it where Kenneth can never borrow it again. My husband took $5,000 from my safe and gave it to his brother. But what he really took was much more than money. He took my trust, my sense of security, and my belief that we were truly partners building a future together. And what he gave his brother wasn't really an investment. It was my daughter's opportunities, my years of sacrifice, and my dreams for our family's future, all handed over with a note that said, "We'll pay back soon." 3 months later, we're still waiting for that payback. And I'm not holding my breath, because I've learned that in some families, the person working the hardest and sacrificing the most will always be expected to give more, while the person asking for help is never expected to pay back. And I've learned that sometimes you have to protect your children's future from your own husband, because his definition of family responsibility looks different from yours. That $5,000 taught me an expensive lesson. But it's a lesson I needed to learn before the amount was $50,000, or before Zara's college dreams disappeared entirely into the black hole of family obligations that never end. Now when I go to my safe, my new safe, with a combination only I know, in a location Kenneth will never find, and I see money slowly accumulating again, I know it's truly protected. Not from strangers or thieves, but from the person who should have been protecting it with me.